today we're talking with Keith O'Brien. Keith is a journalist and New York Times best-selling author. He's written for New York Times Magazine, Washington Post, Politico, and has written 4 works of nonfiction. His latest is the biography Charlie Hustle, The Rise and Fall of Pete Rose and the Last Glory Days of Baseball. The filmmaker Ken Burns says of Keith's book, a dazzling, soaring accomplishment. I read and loved the book. And for the audience, even if you're not following sports, you don't even know who Pete Rose is, you will love this story. Just to give a couple reference points for readers, it has elements of Cinderella Man, the movie with Russell Crowe. It has elements of The Natural, the book and then film with Robert Redford. It has elements of the Andre Agassi biography, Open, which is a great biography, but this is better. It's just a terrific book. And, of course, Keith, it's incredibly timely to have you here, given the breaking news on Ohtani. You have just spent the last couple of years steeped in illegal baseball gambling by players, and that is the national story of the day as well. So we'll get into that, but, of course, first we'll get into a cocktail.
Sounds great.
Your choice for the day is the old-fashioned, which I'll get started on, and it's a little process making these, so we'll be able to talk as I make.
Thank you, Doug. Thank you. And thank you for that introduction. I have to say, obviously the book is a work of nonfiction, but I never thought about it actually in the way you just described it, using those cinematic references. And, I think you just sort of nailed it as I was listening to you give that introduction. And because you're right, there is elements of Cinderella Man and there are elements of The Natural. And, that the fact that you would even mention in the same sentence Andre Agassi's memoir, Open, which, you probably know and many people probably know was written in conjunction with J.R. Moringer, one of our great writers. And that memoir is considered to be one of the great sports memoirs of all time because Andre Agassi was open and was revealing of the darkness. And it's just an honor to even be mentioned in the same sentence as that.
He did reveal a lot in that, and I was pleased to see that Agassi did credit the real writer. It's sort of billed as an autobiography, but of course it wasn't totally an autobiography. He did have some help there.
Yeah.
But it was terrifically done. There, I wish this is sort of off topic for us, really, but he didn't talk about performance-enhancing drugs in that quite as much as I was hoping to see, because I think there's a little more there. But he did talk about the hair. But I don't say that lightly. Yours is better. Your book I just thought was so good. All right, so we're mixing, for those who are just audio only, we're putting the old fashions into the shaker. We've muddled sugar and bitters and water. Putting in the big rock into the glass here. Putting it back in. And now we're all the way down to the garnish.
The old-fashioned felt appropriate, Doug, just because, my story really unfolds in the 1960s and a little bit into the 1980s. And, you can imagine, the power brokers of the day in the early 1970s when Pete was scratching and clawing his way to the mountaintop, having an old-fashioned up in the owner's suite.
You are clearly a media pro because you had a natural instinct to fill the dead air there as I was reaching for the cherry.
I've done some radio, so, nobody wants dead air. Nobody wants dead air.
Cheers. Congrats on the great book.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Ah, that's good.